Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back to Roots and Refuge Farm. My name is Jess. I'm in the garden and this video is requested all the time. Today I'm talking about some of my favorite garden tools. I do have an older video talking about some of my favorite garden tools from a couple of years ago, and some of the things that I'm talking about today are repeats from that video. I'm doing a shorter list today. These are like my top handful of tools. Now, I do want to start this with a disclaimer. I don't feel like you have to have stuff to grow a good garden. In fact, I don't really like to put a ton of emphasis on the stuff because I don't want people to feel excluded from being able to garden. But it is true that good tools do make jobs more enjoyable to do. And if you are making a gift list, if you're wondering what to purchase for a gardener, or if you just like having tools that make a job easier, that's what this list is for. So Mother's Day is coming up, and that's a great time to add these to the list. And also, any day that ends with Y is a great day to buy a gift for someone you love. Says me, who's like a total gifts person. All right, so this list is not in any particular order. These are a handful of things I really like to use. All right, let's start at the top of this list with the hand tools. So first things first, I am not picky when it comes to like little hand tools like shovels, little hand cultivators and stuff. I've had some nice ones, and there are nice ones. When you pay for more expensive hand tools, a lot of times you'll have nice beveled edges that are really sharp. They're more thoughtfully crafted, but I tend to also keep a lot of little shovels and stuff from the dollar store because my kids help me in my garden a lot. They get left laying around, and so that's not something I have a big opinion on. However, there are three hand tools that I will always have. I give these as gifts. I love these. I'm gonna put links down below to either the products I'm talking about or the closest thing I can find online, because some of these like this I've had for a long time. This is called a dibber. Some people call them dibbles. Mine actually says dibber on it. And you can make something like this by sharpening the end of like a broomstick handle. I know Charles Dowding has one. It's like a long broomstick handle that he sharpened the end of, so you can use it standing up, which is really clever. I've just never made one. And this is just like a sharp tool for making holes. This is a lifesaver for planting things like garlic. I use this when I'm planting small transplants because it can make a nice even deep hole, and this makes that work go a lot faster, especially with things like bulbs though. The next tool is called a Cobra Head weeding tool. Here it is. This is a smaller one. I also have a larger one. The number one thing that I can say about the Cobra Head is that it's not wooden, and so it's really nice because it lasts for a really long time. This metal is coated. I've had this thing for like 3 years, I think, and this one's actually Benjamin's, the smaller one, and so this has definitely been left out in the rain and in the garden, and it looks brand new, and it's in really good shape. So the Cobra Head, the way this works is you can get up underneath weeds, for instance here, and just very easily get the entire root system out underneath a weed with this thing. It makes weeding really easy. And while there are a lot of weeding tools out there that are about the same, the fact that this one works so well and also lasts so long gets a good grade in my book. Now the last tool makes me feel like Indiana Jones in the garden. This is a Bare Bones Hori tool. There are other brands of this. I really like the Bare Bones brand. They make nice hand tools that are a little bit more expensive, but that hold up really well and are obviously like quality craftsmanship. But the Hori like stands alone. Not only does this garden tool make me feel extremely cool, it's very, very, very useful. So this is a real knife. This is very sharp, so you have to be careful with this. It's not something to play around with. You can actually cut yourself on this, and I have done that before. But one side is just like a sharp knife edge, and one side is a serrated like saw edge. It has a little hook here that you can use for cutting and pruning, and it is curved like a little shovel. And this sucker is awesome for weeding, for getting up underneath stuff, for cutting off root systems, like if you're getting into something. If you're really having to do some serious weeding, this is a great tool. And it also doubles as a spade. So you can use it for breaking up really kind of like harder ground. You can use it for planting. And this one requires a little more care than like the cobra head. You know, you want to keep the blade dry. You don't want to let it sit and get wet, and occasionally putting just a little bit of oil on the handle, and this will last for a really long time. And it's heavy duty, and I really like this. I've given a lot of these as gifts. So while other garden tools tend to come and go in my garden, these three get the most mileage, and I would be really bummed if I didn't have them. I enjoy using them. They make jobs easier to do, and I reach for these more than anything else. Next on the list is this little 1 gallon sprayer. These things run like 10 to 15 bucks depending on where you buy them. You can buy them at a local store, you can order it online. They're pretty affordable, and how these work is it's just a pressurized pump sprayer. So you pump it and it builds pressure, and you lock it, and then you're able to spray it. Hopefully not at your expensive camera. The reason why I love these pump sprayers is that they're really affordable for how much they help make a job easier. Because while you can reuse like a bottle or something like that to mix up whatever you're gonna spray in your garden, whatever organic pesticide or fungicide or whatever it is that you're gonna put on your garden, this just makes so much faster work of it. Because even if you have a pretty small garden, if you're using a spray bottle that you pump with your hand like this, it can get really tiring. I learned very quick my first gardening year by using just spray bottles that I had to stop and remix more stuff, and my hand got tired. It was just a lot to spray very much space at all. Now I will tell you about those sprayers. If you forget and leave them outside over like the winter, the little ring inside that holds the vacuum seal can get dry rot, so you definitely want to store those well if you want them to last longer. Like empty it out and store it in a dry place, and if you do that, they'll last for a good long while. I have ruined them before by leaving them with stuff in them. But with those, it gives you the opportunity to mix a whole gallon at once, and if you've got more than just like a couple of small raised beds, you're probably going to need that, and it'll make it a lot easier putting it on. Okay, my next gardening tool is this lovely thing here, which this is a new one. I finally got a new one. My other one was so faded from being used for years and then also being left in my greenhouse. I finally got the red one. This is called a root apron, and this is the full root apron. There's also like a half waist one, which I have that, and it is one I really love as well. The benefit of the full root is that it gives you a little bit more support if you're harvesting stuff that's heavy. The benefit of the half root, which is called the Joey, it is that it's not as warm. Like this, even when it's really hot outside, even just a little bit of extra fabric is warmer. And so they're both great. So the way the root apron works is that it crisscrosses in the back to give you support, and you hook these little doohickeys here, and there's this big pocket here. Now this area is kind of water resistant, so stuff's not going to soak through. There are pockets here that you can, like this fits a cell phone, and you have this pouch so you can come out and harvest into your root apron, which is awesome. And you can fit a lot of stuff in here, all kinds of things. A lot of times when I'm picking something like cherry tomatoes, I'll come because it's super easy to just pick them and drop them here into your apron. But the cool thing is, at the end, you unhook this and you can empty this out, like into a basket, onto the table, onto the counter, wherever it is you want to empty it out. So this is a really cool harvesting apron. It's thick canvas. It's really comfortable the way it crisscrosses in the back. You can put a lot of weight in this and it doesn't pull real hard like on your shoulders or anything. I think I got my first root apron, gosh, I don't even know. It's been a long time ago. I've been using these for a while. I met the designer and the inventor of the root apron on Instagram before I ever had like a social media following at all, and got my first root and was like, girl, this is such an amazing invention. This is gonna go somewhere. And now they're very popular. They're in like all kinds of gardening magazines and stuff. It's really cool when you get to cheer people on when they have success. And these come in lots of different colors. I have red, and then I have the little green Joey also, and I love this thing. Also one I've given a lot of gifts of. Alright, so this is not so much a tool per se, but it kind of is. It's not like a hand tool. But the next thing I want to talk about is the Greenstalk vertical garden. Now, I have a lot of viewers who are turning their waiting rooms into classrooms. People who are living in apartments and in neighborhoods and in rentals. They might be growing like their first or second gardens, and I love to encourage that. It is so important to learn what you can where you are. You don't have to wait for your 5-acre farm. You don't have to wait to be able to build a big raised bed garden. You don't have to wait for the ideal to start the process, because the thing is, the more time you put in now to get your hands dirty, to get some hands-on experience, the more you're gonna know when those perfect circumstances do come about. And that way you don't have to spend the first couple of years of having your, your dream place and your dream garden bumbling through learning the basic stuff. Learn it now. Make the mistakes on a smaller scale and harvest the wisdom early. Get the hands-on knowledge so that when your dream does come true, you can actually dive in the deep end and not drown. And that's what I really love about the Greenstalk. I love that this is a product that provides the ability to get your hands on something and learn to grow in a small space. You can do it on a porch, you can do it on an apartment patio, and even if you have a lot of space like me, they're really beautiful and they add a lot of just dynamic beauty to a garden. So here I have the leaf variety, which is more shallow tiers. This is a 7-tier leaf. Over here I have the original 5-tier. I've grown in that for the last few years, and I'm gonna plant that with frost tender stuff when it's a little bit warmer outside. But here you can see I have all these leafy greens growing. I've started to harvest. You can get these with wheels on the bottom, with turners on the bottom, and I'm starting to harvest salads out of this. And take a look at how much food is growing in such a small footprint. Is that not awesome? You pour water here in the top. It's measured, that tells you how much to put for this many tiers. I usually just go ahead and fill it up. And it has a watering mechanism, which I'll show you over here on this one that doesn't have as much in it. It has these little reservoirs underneath every tier, and they have holes in them, so when you water the top, it appropriately waters each pocket of this thing, and then any excess runs out the bottom. So they come in different colors. You can get different sizes if you want shorter ones. This is what I have strawberries growing in over here in the garden, which it's really great for growing strawberries because the things just hang over the sides and keeps them up out of the ground where the slugs can get them. Oh, look, little strawberry blessings. This is actually my original Greenstalk, which I believe I got in the beginning of 2018. So I've had it for like 3 years. I've been growing in them for a little while, and I really like them. All right, so obviously there are a lot more things that I use in my garden. I've got my bootstrap farmer trays here in my greenhouse. I could talk about seed companies. I could talk about soil. I could talk about cattle panels and all the different things that I use and have success with in growing. And of course, I mention stuff regularly that I think will be useful to you guys as I am going along. However, for the sake of what I wanted to cover in this video, I really wanted to cover the top things that, in my opinion, there really just isn't competition for. Those are genuinely the tools that I just listed are the tools that if something happened to them, I would replace them. Like if they somehow got damaged, I would immediately want to turn around and replace them, because I like having them so much in my garden that I wouldn't want to do it without them. Definitely could, but it just make gardening more enjoyable. So these are all things I love. I've tried and true. I've used them for several seasons. I keep going back to them. Now, the last thing that I want to touch on when we're talking about becoming equipped for the gardening season is I want to talk about a resource that I've made available to you guys now. It's really cool getting to share these. The last time that I made a video like this, I didn't have anything like this that I had created. One day I hope to have like tools and things that I can make. Maybe I'll come up with some really cool invention, like a gardening tool. I think about it all the time, but I'm not good at like thinking outside the box. I'm just kind of like, I got the cobra head, I got the hori hori, I got the dibber, what else do I need? The thing that I want to tell you about is the gardening book that I wrote. It was just released this year. It's called The First Time Gardener Growing Vegetables. This is definitely a book that is geared towards new gardeners. I think there are some tips and information in it that you could definitely learn from if you've been doing this for a while. And the overall theme of this book is a true Roots and Refuge pep talk where I am encouraging you to get your hands dirty and try. It also covers a lot of the basics, like understanding the seasons that plants grow in, the things they need for success. This touches on different gardening styles, touches on when to harvest, how to care for your garden organically. And basically, it is just a lot of information without being overwhelming for you when you get started in gardening. So this is available anywhere books are sold. You can order this book, Jessica Soward's The First Time Gardener. Now, obviously, you don't need any of this stuff to grow a garden. Will great tools and good information make it easier for you and possibly save you some failures? Absolutely. But no matter where you are, no matter what resources you have, I encourage you to dive in. And I do hope that the information that I'm able to share with you and the recommendations that I give you and the resources that I've created for you might help you have more success in falling in love with your garden, turning your waiting room into a classroom. And more than anything, I hope that you will turn around and share and encourage someone else with what you've learned. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I bless you. Until next time.